is a bloom, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic's stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. Thought you'd found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. Sky falls and you feel like it's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. You're on the road, but you've got no destination. You're in the mud, in the maze of her imagination. You love this town, even if it doesn't ring true. You've been all over, and it's been all over you. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Touch me, take me to that other place. Teach me. No, I'm not a hopeless case. See the world in green and blue. See China right in front of you. See the canyons broken by cloud. See the tuna fleets clearing the sea out. See the Bedouin fires at night. See the oil fields at first light. See the bird with a leaf in her mouth. After the flood, all the colors came out. It was a beautiful touch me, take me to that other place. To me, I know I'm not a hopeless case. What you don't have, you don't need it now. What you don't know, you can feel it somehow. What you don't have, you don't need it now. You don't need it now. You don't need it. It was a beautiful day.
Good morning, and welcome to this virtual edition of Sunday Assembly Nashville. That just made me smile, seeing you all listening, y'all, and I'm singing along in my head. I'm your host, Don Thomason. Good to be with you here in this manner. And you probably noticed the poll that was going on earlier. Which of these three are true? Well, it turns out all of them are true. Every single one of them. Now, I want to welcome all of you who have found your way to this presentation. Despite currently not being able to get together in the same place, Sunday Assembly is a secular congregation that celebrates life. Our motto is live better, help often, and wonder more. Sunday Assembly is radically inclusive. Everyone is welcome. Sunday Assembly has no deity, but we won't tell you you're wrong if you do. We won't tell you how to live, but we will help you do it as well as you can, because Sunday Assembly is a celebration of the one life we know we have. Our theme this month is finding awe. Now, out of all of the things that you can possibly set out to have as a life purpose, seeking that which brings us wonder and a sense of awe has to be at or very near the top, or should be if we let it. Mankind has historically sought that which invokes awe. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." And that from a stoic Roman emperor. Carl Sagan said, "We all have a thirst for wonder. It's a deeply human quality." We in Sunday Assembly are turned organizationally towards seeking awe and wonder. After all, wonder more is in our motto. Yes, these are particularly trying times to seek out what is wondrous in living this one life, what with the pandemic and the health and economic uncertainties that go with it, and with our current social moment with its rapid change and social conflict. Everyday living has its own way of capturing our attention in the routine of jobs, bills, and dealing with people. I would suggest, though, that the distraction of life's routines and hardships shouldn't keep us from finding what makes us feel awe and wonder. That distraction, if anything, makes it all the more necessary. Now, I'm no expert in the behavioral sciences. Our speaker today fits that bill. But I will give you a layman's impressions on the phenomenon of awe, something described by psychologists and neuroscientists as the emotion we feel in response to something vast that defies our existing frame of reference. As I see it, awe makes us feel a smaller piece of something larger. It makes us feel humbled, which serves to shrink our selfish tendencies and makes us more open to engage and connect with others. When we encounter something wondrous or mysterious, it can make us rescale ourselves from the man-made scope we contrive, our comparisons, competitions, or feelings within our set limitations. Now, I feel the point needs to be made that, contrary to common presumption, belief in religion is not the only way to feel part of something bigger than yourself. We certainly should not cede that ground to deities. Look around you. Look above you. Nature has an inordinate number of grand vistas and majestic scenery. I know because I've seen some of you posting your visits to such places on social media lately. The cosmos are vast and have long enticed mankind with what we can see of stars and galaxies. But not just the natural world inspires awe. There's wonder and awe to be found in a well-turned phrase, haunting melody, inspired brushstroke. The arts of music, literature, dance, painting, just to name a few, continue to take people's breath away. The history of scientific discoveries and achievements is downright mind-blowing, from medical advances to the ability to explore space. And awe can be felt in inspirational people like John Lewis, who recently passed away after a lifetime of frontline struggle and service toward racial equality, or Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who at 87 is a justice on the Supreme Court despite serious health issues, and who has spent a lifetime contributing toward gender equality. Human endeavor can be awe-inspiring. Even though we're in an unprecedented period where we might want to throw up our hands in exhausted exasperation, it would be shriveling to the soul to overlook in life the beauty, emotion, and even social benefit of awe and wonder. Never stop looking to discover the vastly overwhelming and yet connecting sensations that make us feel new, humbled, and alive. And now it's time for our reading. The reading this month is Planet by Catherine Pierce, and our reader is Kenny Bruder.
Hi, this one is Planet by Catherine Pierce, an accomplished contemporary poet. And I found this to really encompass the existential beauty of just being alive. It's called Planet. This morning, this planet is covered by winds in blue. This morning, this planet glows with dustless, perfect light, enough that I can see 1,000,000 sharp leaves from where I stand. I walk on this planet, its hard-packed dirt and prickling grass, and I don't fall off. I come down soft if I choose, hard if I choose. I never float away. Sometimes I want to be weightless on this planet, and so I wade into a brown river or dive through a wave and for a while feel nothing under my feet. Sometimes I want to hear what it was like before the air, and so I duck under the water and listen to the muted hums. I'm ashamed to say that most days I forget this planet. That most days I think about dentist appointments and plagiarists and the various ways I can try to protect my body from itself. Last weekend, I saw Jupiter through a giant telescope, its storm stripes, 4 of its 67 moons, and was filled with fierce longing, bitter that instead of Ganymede or Europa, I had only one moon floating in my sky, the moon, called Moon, its face familiar and stale. But this morning I stepped outside and the wind nearly knocked me down. This morning I stepped outside and the blue nearly crushed me. This morning this planet is so loud with itself, its winds, its insects, its grackles and mourning doves, that I can hardly hear my own lamentations. This planet, all its grooved bark, all its sand of quartz and bones and volcanic glass, all its creeping thistle lacing the yards with spiny purple. I'm trying to come down soft today. I'm trying to see this place, even as I'm walking through it.
Thank you, Kenny. That was good. That was real good. And let's go to our next interactive poll. What inspires awe for you? So participate by going to, once again, www.menti.com. Our code for today is 148100. That should be going across the bottom of the screen at some point. So what inspires awe for you? Just put in some words that describe what inspires awe for you. They'll pop up in a word cloud as you're seeing right now. And we'll be showing that as we go. Neat. All right, and now it is time for our speaker for today, Dr. Brynda Quinn. She earned a PhD in social psychology with postgraduate work in clinical psychology. She taught college courses for many years, then transitioned to being a psychotherapist in private practice and in medical settings, where her work focuses on helping those with health conditions. Brynda is also president of the Sunday Assembly Nashville Board. In today's talk, Brynda will introduce us to the research that demonstrates how the emotion of awe is processed in the brain, the co-opting of awe by religion, and how we can add awe to our lives. Here is Dr. Brynda Quinn.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here and to see all of you online. Jason's been sending us the numbers, and so I'm excited that people are joining us online, and I'm happy for everyone who'll be watching this later too. So thanks for letting me talk today, and thanks for letting me talk about awe. Awe is a fascinating emotion when you really dive deep. So I've got 3 objectives today. One is to help you understand what awe is, and Dawn has given us a great beginning on that. And we're going to look at maybe a different way to see the link between religion and awe. And then finally, we're going to talk about why we need awe and how to include it in our lives, even and especially in these times of disconnection. Because I would definitely agree with what Dawn has said, which is we need awe now more than ever. So let's look at what awe really is. So awe is an emotion with thoughts attached that is provoked by things that are larger than life and novel. So let's break that down. First, the larger than life. One of the most common things that evokes awe is something huge. enormous trees that we know are ancient. Or the Grand Canyon is a classic one. I don't know anyone who could see the Grand Canyon in person and not feel a sense of awe. I know I did when I first saw it. Or an extraordinarily beautiful vista. Again, it's that distance and space and vastness, or a panoramic, beautiful sunset. The ocean, knowing how vast that is, standing on a beach and all you can see is ocean in the distance. Those are the kinds of triggers that tend to trigger our brain. But we can also look at things that are larger than life psychologically. Doesn't have to be physically. So a piece of art or music. I don't know how many of you have seen Hamilton now, and I imagine this effect is even greater if you see it in person. But just watching the movie recently, the video, I was awestruck by the complex lyrics, the quickness, the precision, the beauty of that musical, and the mind-blowing way it looked at things. So that's a good example of something that is larger than life psychologically. It can be a heroic act or an all-encompassing idea. Sometimes people report that they feel awe when they first encounter a theory or an idea that is mind-blowing, right? I'm going to use that phrase again because that's a good one that captures awe, right? And that gets us to that idea of novelty or challenging a previous understanding. So typical comments are things like when people say things like, oh my gosh, the photos did not tell me what this was. Or when they say, I had no idea, or I can't wrap my brain around it, or this is mind blowing, right? All of those capture that idea of challenging previous understanding. So we have vast things that challenge a previous understanding, and then that provokes this feeling of connectedness beyond what is typical. It's a different kind of connectedness than, say, the connectedness we feel to our partner or the connectedness we feel to children or our pets, like my cat that's behind me, right? Love her, love my partner, my spouse, but that's not that feeling of connectedness I'm talking about. This is a feeling of connectedness that is a feeling of being a tiny part of a larger whole. And that sense of connectedness is important in the experience of awe. That is part of the definition, as it were, of awe. So, and there's a couple of different ways to experience that connectedness. Like some people will say, knowing that other people are experiencing the same thing I am. I know when I've gone through some hard times in my life, it was helpful to remind myself, oh my goodness, millions of people have been through this same thing or are experiencing this right now with me. A classic way to think of that is the stars. How many times, I think there's even a song about looking up at the stars, and I know that other people are seeing the same stars I am, right? That is a powerful idea. And that's that feeling of connectedness that I'm talking about. Or the idea that other people have experienced this through time, that we are connected in that way. I do weddings as a secular celebrant. And for people who choose, wording that is traditional, often there's just this sense of connectedness when I say, with this ring, I thee wed. When people repeat that back after me. That's not the way we talk anymore, right? But there's something powerful in rituals that connects us with people across time. Or there's a famous cave painting. There's actually several, but I picked one that Clayton is going to show us in just a second that has these handprints on the wall. And to me, these I can't help but see these and think 40,000 years ago, these people were living very different lives. And yet their handprints look exactly like ours. You and I could do the same thing, put our hand up and blow paint and produce that same handprint. And there's something about that 40,000 years ago, they had that urge to do that you and I can understand, and it would look exactly the same. So it's this feeling of being a small part of a larger whole and challenging our thoughts. That is what makes up awe, right? Connectedness, challenging our thoughts, usually in the presence of something vast, large, bigger than ourselves. So, why is this important, right? Why did we choose to talk about this as our theme today, right? Well, it's important because awe promotes thinking beyond ourselves, and it promotes social bonding. Through that, oh, I am part of something larger. Okay, so why is that important? Well, let's look deeper at awe, and then we will get to why. So, as a psychologist, I can't help but want to talk about the brain and what we know. So there's been a lot of research in the last 10 or 15 years. All has been pretty ignored until then. But there have been several studies looking at awe. So let me give you the general outline. What they do is to enable to study awe in this way, we can't just wait for people to report awe and talk to them about it. We want to provoke awe. So we can assign some people to be in the awe condition and some people to be in the control conditions. So usually that's through looking at awe-provoking photographs, or in one study, they had people go stand in a forest of towering eucalyptus trees, but usually an awe-provoking video. And then the control conditions would be either neutral landscape videos or funny videos. So everyone's watching a video, but only some of them are awe-provoking. And then the researchers looked to see various things. So one of the ones that I found really interesting was one where they used functional MRI to see what parts of the brain were activated. And what they found was with neutral or funny videos, people went into what's called the default mode network. That was activated. But with awe-provoking videos, the default mode network was deactivated. So, what's the default mode network? That's the part of our brain that is active when we aren't thinking about anything in particular. Have you guys ever driven somewhere kind of on autopilot, thinking about something else? Default mode network. Do you ever ruminate about something? You're not really aware of what's going on around you. You're thinking about something in the past or something that you're worried about. Default mode network. Anytime we aren't in the here and now, where have you heard that phrase before, right? Mindfulness. Anytime we aren't in the here and now, thinking about what is here in front of us, that's default mode network. So decreasing that, deactivating the default mode network is a good way to pay attention to what is in front of us, right? It is giving us the same benefits of mindfulness. It may be even part, they're connected, right? So the emotion, one way to look at this is that the emotion of awe is a signal to pay attention outside of ourselves and to notice what is around us, including other people. It's to be here now, not to be off in our heads. So, similar research where they have invoked awe in some people has demonstrated that when people feel awe when they've been shown these videos or pictures or experiences. They report feeling more connected to others. There's that connectedness being demonstrated empirically through research. And they behave in ways that are more generous. They donate more money and helpful. They're more likely to do a helpful thing that is set up by the experimenters. Like, for example, in one study, they had the experimenter accidentally drop a bunch of pens, and people who had been watching the awe video were more likely to stop in the hallway and help the person pick up the pens than people who had watched the other videos. I just think that's fascinating, right? That you could randomly assign people to feel awe and then it changes their behavior. So, being more helpful. And then finally, some people have done this approach in a more biological way. They've provoked different emotions, including different positive emotions, happiness, joy. And what they find is that awe is the only one that lowers cytokines, which are related to depression and inflammation. So, awe may provide some depression reduction, some inflammation reduction through this effect of cytokines. So, awe, this emotion that most of us don't even think about very much, is a pretty powerful emotion. So, but what if I told you, awe may have played an incredibly key role in human evolution and brain development, and maybe is one of the key necessary components of developing religion. So let's put on our evolutionary hats and think about this. So one of the things that is proposed and is pretty accepted in the field of human development across time is that we, at one point in our development, needed to live in larger and larger groups in order to be safe from predators. And it was the people who could live in those larger and larger groups who were able to pass on their genetics. So, we think of survival of the fittest. And in terms of humans, I think in the past, we used to think of that as the strongest or maybe the smartest. But more and more, people are beginning to think, maybe strongest is important, smartest is important, but emotionally adept is also important. Maybe just as important, maybe more important to be able to join those groups. And when you think about it, that idea that's part of awe, that is this, I am part of a larger whole. I mean, that feeds directly into being able to live in groups, as seeing yourself as part of society, not just my family, not just these 10 people who are in my family group, right? Because these groups had to become larger as we moved into different areas geographically in order to keep us safe from predators. So, maybe feeling awe contributed to that emotional complexity and led to more and more complex emotions like guilt and shame and trust and empathy. Beyond the family, beyond the people we are biologically related to. So what about religion, right? So one question that maybe some of you guys have had thrown at you is, well, why do all societies develop religion if it's not true? Well, here's an interesting answer. Maybe it's because humans evolved and we made up stories to explain these moments of awe. So awe came before religion, not awe as a result of religion. So awe came before religion, And then we made up these stories about a vast, all-powerful deity or group of deities, right? And then had rituals to provoke those feelings of awe. So, maybe feelings of awe led to rituals and an explanation of that feeling that then reinforced that feeling. And people who joined these religious groups were more likely to live and reproduce, therefore amplifying that emotion of awe through natural selection. So, maybe primitive feelings of awe evolved into religion. The very thing that some religions deny, evolution, natural selection, maybe it has a way of understanding how religion itself came to be. I think that's just a really fun flip of the way that people have tended to think about religion and awe, right? So maybe awe came first and that developed into religion, right? And so, of course, the fact that, religious people think awe comes from their beliefs, and I'm saying maybe not, right? But that explains why they think secular people can't feel awe, because to them, awe is purely a religious concept. But if awe came before, and we know that secular people can feel awe, then clearly that's not right, right? And at Sunday Assembly, as Dawn pointed out, we reject that because we have wonder more right at the heart of our motto. And I would argue that it's really interesting that we use the word wonder, and I would hate if we didn't, because wonder, we could say question more, right? Question things more. We could say think more. But wonder covers both of those, right? You can use wonder to say wonder about what you're told. Question what you're told. They mean the same thing, right? Think more about what you're told or what you see. Well, wonder more about what you're told. But wonder also includes that idea of have a sense of wonderment, have a sense of awe, right? So, but one thing that we miss out on not being part of religion is that we don't have those rituals every Sunday. We don't have those things that provoke awe, like these awe-inspiring buildings and people singing together and reading these ancient words, right? So maybe we have to go about provoking awe. Maybe we need to find ways to feel more awe, especially now, because think about it. Connectedness is at an all-time low. We have to wear masks. We can't meet together, right? We are living in the sameness of our own spaces. One of the huge things that inspires awe is seeing different. Remember, novel, right? Going to the Grand Canyon, going to a place that has a different culture and seeing people dress differently and live differently, seeing different architecture, right? But we can't travel. So that cuts down on a lot of our awe right now. And also, we're all undergoing stress. So we could use some lowering of cytokines, some lowering of stress and thinking outside of our own problems, right? So we have both the secular part where we are not exposed to as much traditional awe-provoking. We don't have a, oh, thank you, vast being in our lives and those rituals and all that, and the pandemic. So we may be in an all-time awe deficit. So that's all to say, okay, how can we have more awe in our lives, right? So number one is just to become aware of it. Let's become aware of awe. As I have been thinking about this for the past month and then even more intensely in the past couple of weeks, I am so much more aware of it, and I'm feeling at least some smaller awe experiences because being aware of it helps. So now you've listened to this, you're going to be more aware of it, right? And then specifically, ask yourself, when have I felt awe? What provoked it for me? And some research would show writing about an awe-inspiring experience will provoke awe, and you'll be more likely to behave pro-socially, right? So that's one thing you can do to become more aware of awe, is just to write about an awe-inspiring experience that you have had. Then you can also try to seek out ways to experience awe, even if you can't go to the Grand Canyon. One of the things about humans is that we tend to think of emotions as things that just happen to us, that come over us, that are often provoked by outside events. But we can actually learn to think and act in ways that change our emotions. It's a brain hack. It's how do we get that good brain juice? Oh, we focus on things, right? So focusing on awe is a way to do that. You guys have probably heard about focusing on gratitude. There's a lot of great research about how being gratitude will actually help you feel better. It will change those emotions, right? So seeking out ways to feel awe. One thing I found that I thought was really cool was the idea of taking an awe walk. So since nature is such a large component of awe, such a provoker of awe, go to a novel place. At least take a novel approach on a place. Limit your distractions, because distractions take us right out of the here and now, right? Or you can watch or read or listen to something that inspires awe. Nature videos, music, especially music that evokes awe, people singing together, stories that evoke your connection to others, stories of others experiencing awe, right? These are all awe-inspiring external things, right, to deliberately expose yourself to. And then while you are doing that, think about connectedness and vastness. Think about awe. So for example, when you're walking down a path, right? Wow, here I am at this state park. What was this like 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago? Who else walked here? How has it changed? How are their lives different? What happened at this place? I don't know if you guys have seen those pictures of people at famous places, and then it's a tourist shot, and then they superimpose the shot of soldiers in a battleground and what happened there, right? That is awe-inspiring. Thinking about what happened at this place, or what must it like to live in Lin-Manuel Miranda's mind? What would it be like to be in there? How did this person read this? Who else today? I mean, one of the things about this pandemic is we are connected, right? So who else is experiencing this thing today? Who else is thinking about this, right? Those questions about connectedness and vastness are going to help provoke that feeling of awe. So I hope that this has helped you think about awe. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. There are a million ways to do it, mostly through Secret Sunday Assembly Facebook or posting questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to get back to me. And also, I want to thank you very much for letting me speak at Assembly today. Now, everybody, go be awesome. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Brenda. That was outstanding. Truly outstanding. Now it is time for a moment of mindfulness, a brief instant of tranquility to allow us to be in the moment, perhaps to reflect on what Brenda has just shared with us. There's so much to consider in what she has said about how awe works, how we can bring that into our lives. Or we can simply just have a moment to be aware of our own space and of the world around us. All right, y'all. Bring things back, if we may. We have another song from Stephen Phelps. Stephen Phelps original. Super is the natural.
Thank you, Don. Just one moment here. I want to give a big shout out to Brenda. Brenda, that was almost the best speech I have ever heard at a Sunday Assembly. It was fantastic. So I appreciate that. Once back in my songwriting time, I first made an effort to go about making that connection between civilizations long past and the origins of religion in a song called Voila Religion. And that one, it was Ned the Neanderthal who was trying to figure out what was going on outside as the thunder clapped and lightning was flashing. And so he made a connection there. And then later on after that, one day my cytokines were running a little bit low and I needed something to kind of boost them up. So I took another stab at that, this time in a more serious endeavor. The first one was just kind of comedy. And that's where the song came from. I never knew at that time that it would just about be right on target for one of our meetups today. So I hope you enjoy it. And I'm going to be joined by an awesome alto right here, filling in on the harmony. So thanks to her for that too. Here we go. It's called Super is a Natural. Living colors, river strong, island towers, the call of the morning song to herald the dawn, moon ascending, waterfall, mighty wind rustles the redwood tall. Hard to believe it all. Super is natural in so many ways. It's a world of wonder, perfect for the human race. Just look around, what a marvelous place. More than magical, super is the natural. Scarlet sunset, summit high, the smell of ocean, lights in the northern sky. Dance in my eyes, countless creatures, silent snow, fathomless features,
seekers who yearn to know mysteries yet untold. Super is a natural in so many ways. It's a world of wonder, perfect for the human race. Just look around you, what a marvelous place. More than magical, super is the natural. When I look up at the stars, this distant dreamer sees I'm part of something that is so much bigger than me. Super is a natural in so many ways. It's a world of wonder, perfect for the human race. Just look around you, what a marvelous place. More than magical, super is the natural. Super is the natural. Super is the natural.
All right, that is super. Yes, I said that, Stephen. And Georgia felt super is the natural. Now we come to one of my favorite parts of the assembly, which we call trying my best. I want to mention that the menti.com link is still going underneath it sometimes if you want to continue to participate in our interactive polling. And this is the part we call trying my best. When someone in our community shares with us something that they overcame or found their way through. And today, our presenter is Kay Cho.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be here. Appreciate you all giving me the opportunity to share with you today. And I would just like to say to all of the folks that are here live with us, I appreciate you taking the time and joining us today. So I will go ahead and get started. As you guys know, with everything that's going on right now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I've noticed a very big shift in my mood and attitude towards other people. I'll admit, whenever I go out into public to get my necessities or whenever I get on social media, man, my temper is so short. My patience is almost not there. And it's almost as if I'm actively looking for someone or something to get mad at. And now let's take that mentality and apply it to my workplace, the car manufacturing factory. I don't know if you guys have ever been in one, but they're really hot, incredibly noisy, and it's just the overall uncomfortable place to work in. And you sprinkle a little COVID in there, and whenever I was going to go back to work a little while ago, I just knew that it was going to be terrible. And what's crazy is I couldn't have been wrong. I could not have been more wrong, you know, because what I was thinking was whenever because of the fact that I'm in lower level management, all of the complaints, all of the grievances, they go through me. And so the night before going back to work, I had so much anxiety because for some reason I thought that my work group was going to react terribly to all of the new rules that we put in place of having to wear a mask while they're working on the line. And I just thought that they were going to really be mean to me. But like I said, I couldn't have been more wrong. And as the topic is awe-inspiring, it's been awe-inspiring to watch people come back to work and work together. Because whenever we first got back, everybody was so happy to see each other, and people were laughing and joking and cutting up and just hanging out. And I heard some of the funniest stories about what people did or didn't do during the 3 months that they were off. So of course, there were a couple complainers and whatnot, but for the most part, everybody did the best that they could to adapt to the situation. And when the line started back up, I saw more people helping each other out whenever they got behind than before we left. So really what I should have been doing the night before is I should have been reminding myself of the strength of the human spirit, you know, and that whenever times are tough like they are now, that that is when it really shows up. And the example that was set before me by my work group has, been really super uplifting. It's helped me to really change my focus from looking outward and complaining to looking inward and being appreciative of all the things that I do have, and being appreciative and thankful for the health of my family that they have right now, and just really focusing on that and not thinking about the what ifs or wondering about the future. And really, more than anything, it's really helped me to, again, follow the example of my work group and try to ask myself what I can do to help make things a little bit better for somebody else. Thanks, guys.
All right, okay. Thank you for that. That just felt good to hear. It just did. Okay, we're coming up on the section of announcements, and I want to give a shout out to the people who are the technical people who are putting this thing on, Jason and Clayton and Loie. It's really, really helpful to rely on you, as I am somewhat technologically challenged on certain things. I'm an old radio guy, so putting in video. Okay, let's go to our section, our last poll question, if we may, where we would like our donation to go this month. That was up briefly just for a moment. Our choices for donation is the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the Foundation Beyond Belief, and Recovering from Religion. I see some votes are going already. Get your votes in. Look for the information on how to participate scrolling down below us at menti.com, and the code 148100. And we'll share the results later on our social media. So, how would you like to contribute to our organization? Because, as they say, where two or more are gathered, there are expenses. Even though we're not gathered physically, we are still gathered. So there are several ways to give. You can become a sustaining member to give automatically. You can make one-time donations. Go to our website and find out more about it. There's also different ways to get involved in our various committees. There's information coming up for childcare, production, Wonder More, the technical crew, music. There's all sorts of ways to get involved, even in this pandemic time that we have. So feel free to reach out to the people that you see on the screen right there. And join us. And we also have a hello video that several of you put together. Let's see if we can pull that one up here. Maybe see some faces we haven't seen in a while.
Hi, everybody.
For this place? Well, here we are. Oh, here I am. How are y'all doing? Well, Stephen just got home from work, and he may have already taking a nap. He's sleeping. I think I can hear him snoring. Oh dear, he really needs a shave. Steven, you want to say hi to everybody? Can you wake up a minute, honey? Oh, I better just let him rest. He's getting old, you know. This is really wearing on him. I think the beard is wearing well on him. What do you think? Hello! Hi!
Hey, Sunday Assembly peeps. Hope you're doing all right, having fun, learning stuff, loving life. And if you're not, please reach out to somebody else and, try to make some connection. And I'm not just being Southern. Be good to each other. Be good to you.
It's good to see some people. Those faces I have not seen in quite a while. It's good to see you all. And now some thoughts in closing. Some people who know me have picked up on my tendencies to focus on just what's around me or what's in my head. A family member years ago gave me a tall coffee mug, which I still have, that says, "I live in my own little world, but it's okay. They know me here." But you don't have to be a focused introvert to have set regular boundaries on your daily life. It's human nature. And we need to get beyond those boundaries from time to time. We benefit from searching for what is wondrous and awe-inspiring, not just because of the amazing "I've just been blown away" feeling of it, but because it changes our frame of reference, taking us out of our world and into the wider world. What we thought we could feel has been expanded by the experience. We become more likely to consider what is beyond our own personal province, consider other places, other cultures, other viewpoints. And here's an important point. Holding a sense of something greater than yourself does not have to come from belief in the supernatural. We can do this entirely on our own. I'm a sucker for mountains, and I've been amazed at the overwhelming beauty of nature when viewed at Newfound Gap in the Smokies, Pikes Peak in the Rockies, the ancient Kiamichi Mountains in Oklahoma. A more frequent option for me than getting in the car and traveling is putting on a CD with music, something I'm sure none of you are shocked at. I've been transported to wondrous sonic worlds by listening to the most inventive music mankind has created. I was awestruck from the first time I heard things like Stairway to Heaven, or Bohemian Rhapsody, or Vernon Reid's burning solo in Cult of Personality, or the artful observation in Jason Isbell's White Man's World. We can find awe by seeking vastness in nature, by seeking beauty in the arts we create, and also by finding new experiences. Now, this is something that's happened to me in the last 3 years with my delving into cooking. Now, you know that complaint that we have of I went into the kitchen looking for food and all I found were ingredients? Nowadays, for me, that's not a problem. That's a playground. The more I try out and alter recipes, the more confident I am with spices and acids and flavors I once didn't even know existed, and the more I can joyfully discover and make for myself and those I care about. Sometimes it's good to get out of your comfort zone. You can find a whole new world. Getting out of your zone is the reason we should strive to find the awe and wonder in life. It is there for the discovering. For in the words of W.B. Yeats, the world is full of magic things, patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to host once again, and it's time for one more song from Steven.
Thank you, Don. Did a fantastic job today, everyone. Sing along with me at home there, if you will. I believe in good. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe in good. Oh, I believe in good. I believe in being good and doing good just for goodness sake. Good makes the whole world better. Good is great, and I believe in harmony. Respect for all humanity. I believe that we will find the only truth we need. Living this one life by this one creed. I believe in good. I believe in good. Well, I believe in good. Oh, I believe in good. I believe in being good and doing good just for goodness sake. Good makes the whole world better. Good is great, and I believe in harmony. Respect for all humanity. I believe that we will find the only truth we need. Living this one life by this one creed. I believe in good. I believe in good. I believe in good. I believe in good.